This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we will call our meeting today for a rehearing on case 22-14, the meeting to order. And this is only the second time we've done this, so do we need to read all this stuff into the record here, or is it considered in the record?
No, just taking consideration, it's just a request for rehearing. You're not reopening anything or reviewing, just the merits of what the request was based on.
Okay. So the meeting, the letter that was sent in, you guys have got a chance to read it?
Yes.
Mostly referencing the video from October of 2014.
14, yeah.
Did everyone get a chance to watch it?
Yes.
2021, 2014.
Yeah, I took some notes, but I'm confused on a couple of things. I'll bring it up, I guess.
Okay, I guess I'll start with my takeaway with it, and then you
Yep.
guys can say what you saw there. It seemed pretty clear to me. I've read around the 40-minute mark. They start kind of tiling in their long conversation all together, and this is the zoning hearing specific to Gaslight Village and the expansion of those units. And I don't know who the gentleman says, but he says, I don't want to see older units come onto the new sites. The ordinance calls for 95, or the year of 95 being the cutoff. He states he believes a reasonable level would be up to 10 years old. And then he asks how everybody on the board feels about that, and they all kind of not in agreement. It's a little bit indiscernible, but everybody's kind of there. So to me, it feels like this case is fairly clear cut. Their intent at the time was certainly to have nothing older than a 95. They wanted it to be even limited to 10. I couldn't find the actual variance. There was some talk about whether the variance was actually limited the age of the units. But I couldn't find the actual variance in my stuff, so I kind of speaking off the cuff a little bit there. But either way, it's still they were very specific that 95 was the age of the units they were considering as the town's limit at the time. I don't know if you guys got the same
takeaway
from
also
it.
said in the future they may have to adjust it or bring it back up, and
yeah, there was discussion that the town's ordinance in 95 was outdated.
Needed to be amended.
And it needed to be
They did say that.
Needed to be brushed up.
which they may make it 2010 and newer.
Right.
Yeah.
It didn't actually happen, but they clearly were under the impression that the ordinance needed to be updated, and that 95 was old at the time. So I after watching that video, I really don't have any questions myself. I'm hoping that people saw the same thing, but
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
towards the end, at the 18-minute mark, there was something right at the very beginning about age of the unit. And at the end, there was something in there as well. They were talking with Gaslight, and Gaslight was trying not to put an age on it because a 20-year-old manufactured house and a 10-year-old, a 20-year-old could be in better shape.
Sure.
And so the Gaslight didn't want to put a age
Restriction on it.
a restriction on it.
And if I remember, there was some discussion about there are older units in there that were in good shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it happens.
They'll be grandfathered in.
But they were
Yeah.
grandfathered in.
Right, I did have that.
But Gaslight didn't want to put a age of 10-year on it because there could be a 20-year-old unit in there. But in the variance, which I have somewhere here, they did put
There was two conditions.
two conditions.
The first condition was sewage provided by municipal, which would have been the town, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
They wanted to go.
That was
I
the
think they
first
had septic
condition.
at the
That was the
time.
first condition.
And they
The
said they couldn't
second-
expand without.
Right.
without sewer.
And this is what confuses me, is the second condition was compliance of the age of the units of conformity, age of structure at time of installation, and then they referred it to the planning board. They said it would be their problem. I don't know if any of you heard that, but that was on the second.
It was
condition.
going to the planning board after zoning.
Right, exactly.
I think what they meant by that, Ann, is the planning board, they were saying that if they wanted to update the ordinance,
Right,
right, that would have to be done in a zoning amendment,
correct.
which is done by the planning board. So
Okay,
if the planning board decided to update the ordinance to make it newer, that would be on them
right,
to do that, and then it would go to the voters.
right.
So
That was,
Yeah, I didn't
I
That's
think
think
that's what
back
they meant
and
by
forth
planning
as-
board. 'cause
Yeah.
as the condition of that. That was the same takeaway that I got.
yeah, it was, yeah, those two conditions, yeah.
Is that the zoning board at the time felt as though the town's restriction of 95 was too generous and
Mhm.
needed to be updated, and we're referring that to the planning board is how
Correct,
I took it.
yeah, correct. As
Yes.
it says right here,
Because-
zoning ordinance needs to be amended, yeah.
Right. And that would mean instead of 1995, they
Right.
may change it to 2005 and newer, whatever they wanted to do.
Right, or not a fixed year, just a
They never,
10
right.
years.
5-year or
from
newer.
current- Yeah,
10
10
year
years
or
or
newer.
newer, right.
but they never did it.
That would make more
They didn't make it anymore.
They never did it though. They never.
They never changed it.
Right,
No.
exactly.
No.
So here we are 8 years later.
And it's-
Yeah, and I guess that's another issue that we as a zoning board clearly have to take up and when we do our
Address it.
amendments, like to clarify what the town's wording is there. But even in the specifics of this case, Gaslight Village,
Right.
when Gaslight Village was given the original variance that this is operating under, it's pretty clear that the zoning board and the town at the
1995.
intent
95.
was
1990.
95 is the hard cutoff. They didn't even like that. So it makes,
Right, they want 10 years
or newer, right. They didn't put that into the variance itself, but the
no, but they
discussion
talked
makes
about it on the video.
this clear to me,
I agree.
If there's no other real discussion, I guess take a motion on rehearing the case or not.
I don't want to say it. I don't even know what. to
Okay,
say.
I don't know whether we usually do them in the
We can
affirmative,
do the affirmative
And
and
then
then take your vote
vote
up or down.
for or against.
Okay.
I can make the motion, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, do that.
I make a motion that we rehear case 22-14.
I'll second it.
Made and seconded. Any discussion on it?
No.
Beyond what we've had? All right. So we'll vote on it. Those in favor of rehearing case 22-14, say aye. Those against, nay? Nay. And we decided to not rehear the case.
Okay.
All right, thanks, guys, and thanks for coming in a special meeting.
Do we have to do minutes? or
We can do
anything?
minutes first.
No, I didn't do minutes. I mean, this is a special meeting, so
Making sure.
I didn't want to make this any longer than it had to be for you guys.
Mhm.
Now, she can just go for a variance, right?
Any motions to close?
I'll make a motion to close.
I'll second it.
Made and seconded. Those in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned.
Look at, I
Just gotta
made
stop
it this
the
time.
recording.
Yeah.
Don't go anywhere. Merry Christmas. Pass
Oh,
them down.
geez, Louise, thank you.
Pass it down.